you on a scale of 0 to 10? 10 being 10, ready to take action, 0 being none at all. So what's the cost of not moving forward? And it just honestly is so outdated. Objection handling is really important where you are able to pre-frame objections before the call even begins. We teach this at the Queen of the Close. But objection handling and handling these objections merely has a lot to do with two things. Yes, some of the things that you haven't handled yourself, but also because the other person haven't given the three biggest objections that they haven't been able to, one, create certainty and security in your decision as well, and also handle your human need. So one of the things that we're going to be learning in Queen of the Close is these three types of objections. Now the first one being, and I've learned this from Brody Lee, so welcome back to another episode with Keys to the Queendom. I am your host, Tamara Meyer, and I'm wearing the YSL shorts that I spoke about in the last episode, and holy fuck, they're really tight when you sit down like this. Anyway, let's talk about handling objections, because that was the thing we spoke about we were going to bring forward. And I want you to understand that this is going to be a short episode, only because the detail we're going to go into handling objections at my masterclass, Queen of the Close, is one, you are going to learn frameworks on how you can handle these objections. But let's first talk about why objections come up. Objections, it's really hard to say. And naturally, of course, we've all, I'm hoping, have had calls where we've gone, nope, I'll think about it. And I actually wrote a recent email about the outdated sales guru who used to say, how committed are you on a scale of 0 to 10? 10 being 10, ready to take action, 0 being none at all. And even some of my life coaching diploma neurolinguistic programming days, we used to get asked, so what's the cost of not moving forward? And it just honestly is so outdated that it's become now something every time I go on a call, you can tell you're on a sales call. Yeah. And objection handling is really important where you are able to pre-frame objections before the call even begins. We teach this at the Queen of the Close. But objection handling and handling these objections merely has a lot to do with two things. Yes, some of the things that you haven't handled yourself, but also because the other person haven't given the three biggest objections that they haven't been able to, one, create certainty and security in your decision as well, and also handle your human need. So one of the things that we're going to be learning in Queen of the Close is these three types of objections. Now the first one being, and I've learned this from Brody Lee, so can't take credit for this, and he learnt from Eli Wild, who I learnt from Eli Wild, who is the #1 sales trainer from, let's remember the name, Tony Robbins. We all know him. And the vehicle objection is all to do with the strategies, the systems, the resources. A vehicle objection could be, I don't think the course is right for me because I don't believe in your strategy. I don't believe in your way of teaching. Your course doesn't have a roadmap, a phase, X, Y, and Z. It could be a vehicle objection around, your modalities, right? So that's vehicle. Which, again, the heart of the most common objection, which you'll hear very soon, again, is always going to be the main one, but the strategy objection or the vehicle objection is still a smoke screen mirror. It's still really not the real objection as to why people have said, I just don't think that strategy works for me, or I just don't think that course is going to be working for me in terms of my next objection, time, which is all to do with the priority, the busyness, and the inability to be able to have the time to make it work. And I love this one too, because again, the time objection has everything to do with a bullshit excuse. We all know. Smoke screen mirror. I better do that again. Smoke screen mirror. to what they're really not saying. So remember, objection handling is all to do with the internal stuff, not what they're actually saying when it comes to, I'm going to have to think about it because of the time, the strategy doesn't work, don't think what you do is work. And then, of course, we've got the spouse objection. Yeah, I'm going to speak to my spouse, I'm going to see what they say, avoidance, denial, smoke screen again, and not to say that even if they do say these objections that it's true or false. I've used it to get out of a call. And sometimes what's really important when we do have these types of objections, we handle them well with questions and bringing them back with pattern interrupt, which I'll come into a second.
How often have you said, I spent my whole life studying, I've been to school my whole life, and I've actually learned nothing that teaches me the tools and strategies to build a successful business in the outside world. You've probably spent thousands of dollars on courses, or you've heard fake news from business gurus. Well, I'm here to give this incredible news to everyone here right now that this is Queendom University. Get out of debt and actually start making money in the online space, knowing and having the foundations to build a successful business. Now I'm talking because I have gone through the trenches. I have been a fitness coach, built my online business as a pro athlete, and now I am a business coach. You'll go from having absolutely no idea what your business is through, in the 8 weeks, learn the foundations of knowing what your purpose is, your vision and mission, and also understanding your business values with the execution to know what that business is. You'll also learn branding, social media, content strategy, marketing, and more importantly, how to sell. With Queendom University, it'll cut out the bullshit and remove all the fluff and get you working specifically on your business so you can execute this in 8 weeks to get ready to launch. I wanted you to have something where you get to access something straight away, where you get to fast track your growth, as well as remove any doubt, any overwhelming sensation or stress, or the question that everyone seems to ask, where do I begin? With Queendom University, you'll be able to build wealth, freedom, and at the end of the day, be an entrepreneur and be able to say, I have finally built my own thing, my own business. And I've stopped making money for someone else, and I'm now making money for my own empire. Queendom University.
And the final objection we know is money. Money is always the biggest one. It's always the last one. I've been selling on Zooms for over 3 years now. I'm also selling on stage. And the biggest thing is you'll always have newer ways that objections are delivered, which will always catch you off guard. And so every time an objection comes up, it's not about, let me rephrase that. Every time an objection does come up, it's not about having to justify. It's actually having to acknowledge. And we call it the 3 A's. I didn't learn this from, I didn't make this one up, by the way. This is something I've learned from my mentors. But the 3 A's is to assure. Is acknowledge. Acknowledge what they've said. Affirm, which is affirming like what you're able to support them with. Affirm that you see them. Affirm that you've known that feeling before, and how you can assure them with an example of why you are able to support them with that objection. So the 3 A's is a common thing to do for every single one. But let's begin back to the objection handling around the strategy, right? And again, smoke screen, mirror, and again, always really important to find out before these objections come up what their money behaviors are like, what their previous coaches have been like as well. Like, what is it that's making them say, I don't think this course is right for me. I don't think what you teach, your modalities, your strategies is right for me. Again, this could also be based on type people who are AD learners. They're not feelers, they're not kinesthetic awareness people. And a lot of the times they're logical thinkers. So they may need to see visually your strategy. They need to see results. And so handling these types of objections is always making sure that the course or the strategy has worked for other people, and finding out what type of strategy they have used and why that didn't work for them. It's always important. I'm not wanting to give too much away when it comes to handling objection, but with the strategy objection with vehicle, knowing that it's a smokescreen, is going deeper and going, if you've worked with other coaches before and that strategy didn't work, and I'm presenting you with a different strategy and you're saying that again, this doesn't feel like it's right for you, I would love to know what is it really that you're not saying, that you're hesitant to share. I would love to understand more where the fear is coming from. Very different to, well, this is better than what we do because this person has done this. You're really understanding more what their internal dialogue, what deeper shit they've been through to get them to use the vehicle objection. When we're dealing with time, it's always about being able to go, I understand. I understand too, because feel, felt, found, a framework we teach, is we also believe that there is always going to be a moment where we feel like we're always running around doing a million things. I'm undiagnosed ADHD, and I always know that I am the best when I have more things going on, and I manage to make time work, and I always manage to find a way. But it's the language we want to choose, that if time is an objection, it's really bringing forward about, Stacey, you spoke about how you want to spend more time with your children. You want to be able to have holidays with your kids, which means taking time away from what you do to be able to spend time with them. And you're here right now telling me that time seems to be a problem to put energy into something. This is where the vehicle, the strategy allows you to then go, what we have been able to do allows you to not have to put so much time into a program like this so that you can have more time with your family. So it's not taking you away from your family and spending time with your family as well. But here's something you'd love to say to them, and that is this. Would you be okay that throughout this time we become more resourceful, where we find time to make it work for you rather than sacrificing everything, but we find pockets of time where we look at your schedule together where we can find the time to make this work? Does that sound good for you? Very different to, well, you just don't have a priority problem, or you have a priority problem and you say that you're too busy, we're always too busy. It's, again, defensive. We don't want to be defensive. We want to be feel, felt, found. We want to hear the person. And of course, the money stuff, we won't go too deep on this because this is what you're going to learn at my webinar, my masterclass, Queen of the Close.
Beautiful kings and queens, are you right now in a space where you're ready to take action and build your business, yet you struggle where to begin? You're feeling stuck and overwhelmed with all the things you need to do when it comes to building a business. Build the business of your dreams in the online space and be in the arena of all the incredible, great humans out there that are building 7 to 8 figure businesses. Now, the foundations that I truly believe in that you are going to learn through this membership is sales, marketing, content creation, social media, money mindset, and of course, branding. Now, all of this will be accessible for you to be learning what is currently hot right now in the market and how you can create your own business and build a successful business in the online space. All you have to do right now is DM Empire in my Instagram or email myself and my team, and we will get the ball rolling so you can have your empire and start making moves in the online space.
And someone who was homeless, someone who came from a family where my dad was a gambling addict, where money was always thrown and spent, money where my dad used to go through my closet and my piggy bank and steal money from me. I watched my dad steal food at Woolworths because he couldn't afford anything, right? So money objections, everyone has their own, whether they're afraid based on their own story with money, belief, and this is one you have to really learn to navigate. And this is, again, something I really want to bring forward when it comes to sales too, that you don't fall into the trap of making their story so like, oh, I'm so sorry that you've been through that. And yes, we have to acknowledge. But you as a salesperson, when it comes to handling objection with money, you have to have worked on that too. And it's not about money being the reason that they can't commit to you. It's either they don't believe in themselves or they don't believe in you. It's all energy. And people have found ways. I made an email about this, which I may talk about in my next episode, and it triggered someone. People will always find ways to make things work when it's important enough to you. So, yes, handle your own objections. That's true. And that just comes with the reps, you know? And if you are in an industry where people's conscious awareness around investing is different to someone like me, where I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in things and have always made it work, but also being strategic in my resources and learnt without being too egotistical, and learnt the hard way and made mistakes, and known that money always comes, we can always make money, and always when you invest in the greater good and the universe will always find and have your back. You have to be mindful of how you speak about money, how you attract money, how what you're promoting is attracting the types of clients that are very aware of what it takes to invest. So sometimes the objections you're handling need to take time. And that's why Queen of the Close is going to be for you, so that you can learn how to handle objections in a really authentic way based on your own stories, based on what you've been through. And last but not least, what your clients have been through, that you can share their success stories. So don't stop learning how to sell. Don't stop taking notes on objection handling. If you get ghosted, that's again detach from the outcome, but never leave nothing left unsaid. And if you're enjoying these types of episodes where I'm sharing my sales training, I do this in my empire space, in my queendom space. I love sales, I love training, I love all of those things. So just know that if this is feeling good for you, then be part of my world, or join my free masterclass where I can teach you the sales frameworks on how you can close 90% of your sales and how you can handle objections better than anyone else, where the I'll think about it won't trigger you, but you'll be able to follow up like a queen and still make that sale. I'm your host, Tamara Meyer, and I hope you've enjoyed this session, as well as my tight YSL shorts, which are very tight right now.
I'm in for playing big today with authenticity, because here is the thing. It's not about being perfect on stage, perfectly put together, which is important, yes. It's about being who you are. What if right now, because of today, in a year's time, you could look back and go, I did that scary thing. And that's a year from now where you went and made that decision. I'm going all in, committed to doing the work. I'm committed because this is so much more than me. It's not about me anymore.